Moartea îi urmărește pe sirieni peste tot. Sunt cuvintele unei femei din Siria care a supraviețuit devastatorului seism, care a făcut zeci de mii de victime în țara sa și în Turcia. Au fost uciși de cutremur chiar și supraviețuitori ai bombardamentelor regimului de la Damasc, iar ajutoarele internaționale nu ajung în acest loc. CNN are prima echipă de jurnaliști din SUA care a reușit să intre în Siria pentru a transmite din zonele afectate de cutremur. Vă avertizez, imagini și informații cu un puternic impact emoțional.
Baby Mohammed takes every little labored breath on his own. No mom, no dad to hold his tiny hand. His parents didn't survive the earthquake. The 3-month-old was rescued by neighbors who brought him to this ICU. In the room next door, we find Ghalia. The 26-year-old will never walk again. The earthquake brought down her family's home and crushed her back. Her stepmom tells us Ghalia and her 3 children were under the rubble for 18 hours. The children survived, but they don't know where they are. In every room of the Syrian hospital, a bittersweet tale of survival. Many more should have been alive today to tell their stories. Doctors say they tried to save them, but didn't have enough supplies to save everyone. The few medical facilities in rebel-held Syria are barely still standing after years of Russian and Syrian regime bombardment that left them ill-equipped to deal with a disaster of this magnitude.
We lost a lot of patients because of shortages in medical supplies. If we had them, we could have saved many more lives.
This was the scene here last Monday and in other facilities run by the Syrian American Medical Society.
This is the biggest disaster we ever had. We dealt with war injuries, but never had to deal with this many casualties at once.
The people of this devastated land cried for help, but no help came. Aid to rebel-held northwest Syria is tied in politics and at the mercy of a regime so cruel, even at a time like this. They dig and dig with their bare hands and whatever they can find, desperately trying to reach their loved ones. It's too late for rescues now. They just want to bury their dead. Mohammed is searching for relatives. Expressionless and numb, he tells us 21 of them, including children. Life here feels like one endless cycle of loss and grief. Most have been displaced time and time again by more than a decade of war. They're now homeless once again. We were sleeping under the trees, but it was so cold we came here, Sultan tells us. She begs the international community to send them shelters. We just want a tent, she says. I wish we had died with everyone else so we don't go through this, she tells us. We survived only to live this misery and agony. They have nowhere left to run. Millions are trapped in Idlib. It's the last rebel-held territory in Syria.
Mohammed says that she and her family fled Aleppo province and came here. She says they escaped the fighter jets and the airstrikes. And she says we came here and the earthquake followed us. She says death follows Syrians everywhere.
700 people lived in this now flattened residential complex. Only a handful survived. Young men from nearby villages came running to help get people out, she tells us. But what can they do? They tried digging. We heard people screaming, "Get us out, get us out." Then they went quiet. They all died. 2 days later, they pulled a little boy and girl. Their dead bodies were still warm. Others made it. After hours of this painstaking rescue, little Ahmed was pulled out alive. The White Helmets, heroes of Syria's war, did all they can to save as many as they can. They urgently appealed for international support.
They didn't send anything. They didn't respond. They let the people here down, and now the people here in Syria really know that now they are forgotten.
Jumana Karache, CNN, Idlib, Syria.